Hey there, YouTube. It's Mad Dad coming at you with another new player podcast. And this week we got two guests for the price of one. We got our returning guest, Keriel.
Whoa.
And then as a special treat, you know him from YouTube. I'm sure you've seen all the videos. He's a part of the Game Changers team and a fantastic content creator here on YouTube. Mist.
How's it going, guys?
Hey. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and go around table and kind of talk about who we are, what we're doing here, and let's go ahead and Kirill, let's kick it to you first. Talk about where you're at with your gaming experience and why you feel like this is a good spot to be bringing you on the show to talk about this today.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm the grunt of the group. I'm actually the guy that's actually in the field doing the new player experience. So yeah, I am the new player. I've been playing for about 15, 16 days, and yeah, all because of YouTube content from yourself, and also actually I was watching Mist before I even knew we were going to be doing anything with Mist. So this is really exciting for me.
That's awesome.
Like 2 weeks into the game, all of a sudden I'm on my second podcast of YouTube with one of the biggest YouTube creators on the game. So it's pretty neat.
So,
Okay.
Mist, you're obviously creating a lot of content, and specifically around new players. That's definitely why we wanted to bring you on this show. You have a lot to say about it. So, why don't you go ahead and let us know, what you're about, and yeah.
So, we were just talking about this. I started the game at release, so I have been playing for literally next week will be 2 years exactly. I actually, how I got into YouTube is kind of interesting. I actually started out watching, like, there were maybe two other channels doing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes content at the time, and I didn't really find what I was looking for, and I was like, you know what? I'm not an idiot. I can figure things out, right? So I downloaded a screen recorder and I just kind of took a shot. And it's kind of I just kind of make videos as it's convenient for me. It's a pure hobby for me, so that's why my content doesn't come out, every day or every other day. But I do try to focus on the stuff that's not being covered by the other game changers, by other players who have a whole lot more free time than I do. So I actually have found a shortage of really good, reliable, up to date new players guides. I mean, it's kind of something that you do as a YouTuber. It's like, okay, well, I don't really have much going on in the game right now, so I guess I'll just go make a guide. Well, I kind of took hold of that, and I was like, there's a whole lot of topics. Like, you can't just say these are the great characters to farm, go farm them, because I did that once, and I got a lot of feedback that was just negative. Like, people were like, well, you can't just tell me to farm everything. I can't do that. I'm a new player. I don't have that kind of resources, those kind of resources. So I basically broke it down, and that's why I've started my. If you go back to my most recent beginner's guides, I've tried to break it down into, okay, these are the characters that you want to focus on up front for Cantina. These are the characters on hard nodes that you want to focus on. And then now I'm doing my resource conservation guides, which the first one was last week, and that was the energy conservation. I just need to do the video editing and get the voiceover to do the crystal conservation, and that one's going to come out here very soon. So, and then the last one is going to be gear and credit conservation, because we all know that those are the two biggest bottlenecks in the game are gear and credits. So I have great plans for the future. It's basically just finding the free time to get the video editing done. It's like I said, it's just a hobby for me. It's just fun, and even though I don't have the largest subscriber base of some of the YouTubers out there, I do think that I have a very dedicated subscriber base, and the people that do watch my videos, I do get a lot of positive feedback in it, and that's kind of what keeps me going. I think if I didn't have even even if I had like 10,000, 20,000 subscribers, if I didn't have the people subscribing me that gave me the kind of feedback that really keeps me going, I probably would have stopped YouTube a while back. So it's cool to actually meet like viewers like you who are like, hey, I just started the game and I've been watching your videos and now I'm talking to you in person. It's pretty cool to just kind of like meet my subscribers like this. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's awesome. I'm sorry, my microphone was muted, but it was just your money, man, because literally I'm running into gear problems right now. So that's can't wait for that content.
Yeah, I just need to get it done.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic, and I really do think that I was able to glean a lot out of your videos, and I definitely have appreciated them over the time that I've been playing the game. I've only been playing for 4 months. I'm not free to play, but I try and keep it on a level that's healthy, and my wife doesn't divorce me. So yeah. But anyway, yeah. So it sounds like we're definitely on the same page. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of content out there that's up to date with the new player experience, and that's a good way to kind of segue into our overarching topic. But for right now, let's just go ahead and kick it around, one more time, and just talk about, what are you guys doing this week in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes? Did you guys get any milestones done? Any characters unlocked? Anything really cool? Like, Mist, why don't you go ahead and kick it off?
Actually, I had been sitting on a bunch of gear. So yesterday I took R2 and Rex to gear 12 because they're both in my arena squad and I've been putting it off. Then today, my guild, for the first time, we got 50 out of 50 on the Rolo shards in phase 2. So I just got Rebel Officer Leia Organa, the second longest character name in the game, second to the newest First Order TIE Fighter, Special Forces TIE Fighter pilot. So I just got her to 7 stars. So this territory battle, I will be able to do that special mission in phase 6. So I'm very excited about that.
Well, while on that topic, how are you farming for your Hermit Yoda?
So
Yeah.
I am not actually. I kind of I Jedi are, I like Jedi. I have some geared up Jedi, but I don't have enough that I feel like Hermit Yoda would be a worthwhile investment. Plus, I've played around with him on my test account, and he is fun. I don't want people to think, oh, well, Mist isn't farming him, so he must be garbage. No, he's good. He's a very good character, but you kind of have to have the right squad around him. He's one of those, I guess you could call him a niche character where you can't really just plug him into every squad. I mean, you can plug him into a lot of squads, and he does really well because, I mean, his kit is very, very fun.
Right,
but
but
it's
he's no
just
R2D2.
yeah, he's an investment that I'm not willing to make right now. I would much rather be buying the Carbantes, the stun cuffs, the hollow projectors, the blueprints. I mean, that's how I got Cassian's U-Wing to 7 stars so fast, is I was buying not just his shards or blueprints out of the Cantina shipments, but I was also buying them out of the event store. And then I'm also farming like Poe's X-Wing and a couple of the other ships that I just have neglected up until this point. So I'm buying just kind of anything that catches my eye except Hermit Yoda shards in the event store.
Fair enough. Keriel, how about you? What do you find? What have you found yourself doing this week in game?
Yeah, so I am on the new player experience in regards of I am starting out just all Phoenix Squad. So last week I was soft capped on gear, I'll call it, and I wasn't able to gear my guys due to level. Well, this week I'm running into an issue I missed. My issue is that I am node capped. So now I literally can't get gear until I progress farther enough in my table 5 on the dark side. So I'm finding myself throwing gear, throwing credits, I'm just throwing gear and credits at the guys. I'm not really throwing ability mats except for like maybe level 1 ability mats at my dark side units. so that I can put together a respectable squad to try to clear table 5. Because yeah, it's literally my Phoenix squad is going nowhere. I'm kind of spinning my wheels because I'm node capped right now. So that's kind of where I'm at. But as for everything else, because I'm so far progressed with the gear, I'm doing pretty well in arena for free to play. I got down to 55. I almost got to tier 8 on this week. So yeah, dude, the freaking the assists, baby, run those assists. It's just too much fun. So yeah, so as soon as I get past this node cap, I'll be rock and rolling and going for tier 8 next week. So that's kind of where I'm at.
That's awesome.
Yeah, nice, man. Okay, so quick one on me. Basically, I hit level 85 just a couple days ago. So that
Oh,
grind
you
is
didn't even tell me.
sorry. Yeah, fun. So it was right before that 4-month marker came along. So I felt pretty good about that.
Nice.
And
So-
then I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So if you don't mind me asking, you said it took you about 4 months to get to 85.
Yep.
And on average, how many energy refreshes were you using?
I was using every single day for the entire 4 months. I was doing 300 on Cantina and 150 on the yellow energy.
Okay, so 6 total refreshes.
Yes.
Okay. No, that's great information to have, because I've always kind of wondered, okay, how long does it take to hit 85 now? Because I was playing, it was like, okay, well, 60 was the cap, and then 70, and then 80, and then 85. So I never got to go straight 1 to 85, so I have no idea how long it takes. So that is a great bit of information to know. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Got to 85. I got all of my resistance team up to 7 stars now. I'm waiting on ability mats. I can't get enough ability mats because I'm still working on getting all my ability mats up on my New Hope squad. So that way I can be ready for CLS when he drops. I only have Luke left to gear up, or not to gear up. All my New Hope is up to gear 9, but they are missing the abilities on Luke. He's the last one I have left, and then I'll be done with them, and I can transition into Resistance. That way I can finally help my guild better in territory battles, and hopefully make Galactic Chore a whole lot better.
Yeah, that Zeta on Finn, man.
Yeah, I really screwed the pooch. So this is something like going forward, like new players can kind of glean from my mistakes. Is that my one and only Zeta that I've done so far was on Qui-Gon Jinn. Mistakes were made. So I should have done like number crunch or Finn, but yeah, I did Qui-Gon Jinn.
Okay.
I was born
I didn't Zeta a light side character until R2's number crunch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was like 6 Zetas in. So
I'm sure you have to have a Zeta you regret.
if we want to circle back around to that, we can. I'll let you finish.
Okay. No, I'm pretty much done. That's my week in a nutshell. Other than the fact that I started First Order now that I've gotten all my resistance up to 7 stars, and just trying to work on the First Order and getting them up in preparation for the next time that BB-8 rolls around. No pun intended. And just to have the First Order, because obviously their CG is making a big push to First Order this month, so I'm willing to bet we're going to need them. But let's circle back around. What do you feel was a mistake with a Zeta?
Okay, so I bought into the Darth Maul hype, and I gave Darth Maul his Zeta, right? Because I was getting massacred by Darth Maul Zetas in Arena, but I didn't invest in one of the other biggest pieces of the Darth Maul Zeta, and that was the Sith Assassin. So when I Zeta'd Maul, I didn't have the right supporting cast, and so I just couldn't beat anybody. It was just I was like, what's going on? I can't beat anybody. And so I gave him a Zeta, and I used him for 2 matches in Arena. Then I went back to a Rex lead, and never used Maul Zeta except in Galactic War, just for the novelty of it. So,
well, in
Darth
theory,
Maul,
I mean, it can come back around with Dark Side territory battles, right?
I'm really hoping that like some of my I'm hoping that Darth Maul's Zeta is going to be very helpful. Kylo Ren's Zeta, I don't think is ever not going to be useful. Like, it's just really fun. And then let's see, I did give Qui-Gon Jinn a Zeta before I went Resistance because I was like, well, I've got Jedi, I'll just give Qui-Gon Jinn a Zeta and I can use that in territory battles. Qui-Gon Jinn Zeta is not as good as it's cracked up to be in territory battles. Like, especially when you've got, like, if those enemies get on a roll and they just feed each other turn meter. It's so frustrating. Like, they can get like 15 turns in a row, and when you only have one foresight, that goes away fast. So the Qui-Gon Jinn foresight just wasn't really that helpful, and I'm really kicking myself because I could have Zeta'd Finn that much sooner. And I'm telling you, any new player watching right now, you right there, Finn, as soon as you hit 60, don't farm chips, don't farm anything, just farm Zeta mats. Literally just farm Zeta mats for like, just get 20 of them, Zeta Finn, and then go and do whatever you want in the fleet arena. Just
done.
Zeta Finn and be done, and you'll never have to worry about Galactic War ever again.
That's funny.
It's just going to make your life so much easier. He is the PvE king. So, yeah.
That, I couldn't agree with you more. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's pretty much the week's ongoings. Let's go ahead and transition into the news segment.
Who likes good news, everyone? Then good news, everyone.
News topics this week. We got news about the Guild versus Guild coming out. We got news that they were going to be doing a beta for it. So for, I think it was the first 10,000 players that signed up, first come, first serve, they were able to get involved in that. Also, we had Crew come out this week, Kylo Ren Unmasked, and we had the Special Forces TIE Fighter pilot. Did I nail it?
Yeah, no, 7 words.
Nailed it.
7 more words. Yeah.
Yes. And then finally we got Kylo Ren 4-star unlocked, or for the seasoned players like Mist here, he was able to just go ahead and probably collect 80 shards, I assume.
Shard store currency.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and kick it around as far as Guild versus Guild. As far as Mist, did you have access to this with your dev account and stuff, or?
So on our dev account is on a live server, so it's the same game that you and I are playing live. So it doesn't have any of the beta stuff. The beta, however, I did have an opportunity to participate in closed beta. I didn't participate in the open beta, just because the idea of an open beta, with the propensity of people to leak information, a beta that big with that many players, I didn't want to really be a part of it because I didn't want to be at risk of being, the finger pointing anywhere in my direction, even for leaks. So I just kind of said, you know what, I've got my ins, I've got the devs I can talk to get the information that I need to. So I wasn't really too worried about participating in the beta, but I do think it was really cool that CG was willing to go out into the community and say, hey, we'll take 10,000 players, first come, first serve, come experience this new game mode that we're wanting to push out. Because I think that will probably help ensure that we don't have as many. I don't think they'll ever be able to completely erase the possibility of any bugs, but I think that it will help create a more polished product when it does finally come out live to the masses. So I think it was really cool that they pushed out Territory Wars in that way. I'm really excited to see the final finished product. It's very exciting to have new content. I know that a lot of people are starting to feel overwhelmed with the amount of content we have now. So I'm really hoping that it's not going to be a huge, huge time sink, because right now, Territory Battles, some players feel like it's huge time sink, having to move mods, to this character, then to this character, and then to this character, and agonizing over getting 5 or 6 out of 6 waves on each combat mission. So I'm really hoping it's not going to be a big time sink. I think that they're probably going to try and make it kind of fit into that 4-day period between territory battles. So I don't know how long it's going to take on the final product. So it is cool though. The beta is, I mean, it's the first time they've ever done an open beta like that. So I'll have to talk to Rydigs. He's the guy that runs the beta program, and I'll have to ask him for some feedback. Hey, how do you think it went and all that stuff.
I'm curious. Also, I know that we're going to have a tie-in question later on with a Twitter and Facebook questions that's going to pertain to that. But you kind of touched on something there as far as the finished product coming out a whole lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I could not agree with you more. I think they have really set themselves up for success with that. And I think if they would have put this level of a little bit more forethought. I don't mean to sound like doom and gloom about it, but if they would have done the same thing for territory battles, I think it would have been a much better success.
I think so. I think maybe instead of trying to brush everything back under the carpet, like nothing to see here, nothing to see here, if they'd been a little bit more open and maybe said, okay, well, since it's only open, hey, let's do an open beta, woo! Maybe territory battles might have come out with a little bit more polish on it, but the first one's a little rocky. The rewards were like, what? But they fixed it up. They fixed their boo-boo, and they've done a pretty good job of making sure that rewards at least feel commensurate to the time investment. So
absolutely.
Can I hop in real quick?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, what I was going to ask was, so you guys are talking about this time sink, and honestly, I'm only at level 54. So as a new player, what kind of time am I expecting to work out on this? Because I'm looking at maybe Galactic War probably takes me about 35 minutes, maybe. It depends on how fast. And then, I mean, I can log in and burn off a bunch of energy, but what kind of time sink are we thinking about here?
So, on average, how much time would you estimate that you play a day? Maybe 1 to 2 hours?
Oh, yeah, that sounds about right. Just by going in and, let's say I don't have multi-sims, and I just run it in the background, blah, 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 click autoplay and watch TV. Yeah, you're right. It's about 1 or 2 hours. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
About 1 or 2 hours.
So, where a newer player like you don't have as many sim tickets, you might be just like you said, going into a battle, hitting auto and just letting it run. It's still a time investment. So I think the time investment translates from doing the mundane stuff that I guess you could call mundane to actually doing endgame stuff. Like at your level, you're probably not spending a whole lot of time in raids. You're not spending a lot of time in territory battles. You're not doing your fleet arena because you're not there yet. You haven't unlocked it because you're not 60. So I think the time investment doesn't really get much larger. I think that you guys might be able to agree that even at level 85, you're still only spending about 1 to 2 hours in the game. And that's not if you are doing anything crazy. It's real easy to spend 30 minutes on a tank raid in just one phase if you're using resistance. Like phase 4, I don't I very rarely catch a raid that I'm able to actually participate in, but when I do, I always find myself in either phase 2 or phase 4 with my resistance, and it's long because they last forever. And so it's real easy on a tank raid to find yourself holy crap, I've been doing this raid for 30 stinking minutes, and it's just tap, 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 tap. Territory battles, it's real easy to spend about 30 minutes on territory battles, and that's if you're moving mods around. If you're not moving mods around, and phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 even, I don't really have to move many mods around, but phase 4, phase 5, phase 6, where I have to really move my mods around, and I got to make sure that my squads have the best mods to get the most waves on the combat missions, I would probably say I could easily spend 30 to 45 minutes on on territory battles. So it just matters. It differs day to day, but if you really find yourself, I mean, you can spend as much or as little time as you want in the game.
Yeah,
And
well,
so,
and let me suffix that with I wasn't saying like, hey, am I looking at I don't have the time to spend in the game. I'm looking to spend more time in the game. I was just my concern was elevated when you were like, oh well, it's kind of like we're looking at maybe another hour, and I'm like, damn, dude, this could be like a 4-hour thing. No, so. Yeah, no, that's good to know that it's not going to get out of hand. I mean, I'm looking forward to more content.
I think
Oh,
as
didn't
there's
want to get
plenty.
crazy.
I think as new players, I think they're ultimately sharing your same sentiment. Even I did. It's like, dude, why does my gaming have to end? Why do I have to wait until I refresh my energy at noon or what have you? And you can't get enough, and you always want to be in game. As opposed to like when you become a little bit more seasoned, then Galactic War isn't this fun thing anymore. It's a huge time sink. The same thing can be said about territory battles and stuff. I maybe differ a little bit from Mist on that. I think you're probably realistically going to spend another hour, because if you actually do all 5 of your battles in ships, if you do a raid or 2 a day, and you add on a territory battle onto that, you're probably looking at another hour than what you're playing right now in a day.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. I guess I'm not taking into account the fact that I only really do my one fleet battle each day. So,
Right.
but
Okay, so that okay. Keriel, did you have anything you want to add on Guild v Guild that you read or that you were interested about or wanted to even comment on?
I was hoping they don't do a very good job of explaining. And we'll see it obviously come out of the matchmaking in regards to, okay, I'm not level capped. Do I have any place in this guild war? And I didn't want it to be like a soft return on the guilds where they're like, all right, guys, we got to boot out everybody that's not 85 because we're doing guild wars now, and if you're not 85, you're of no use to us. So I didn't really find really good information on the matchmaking in regards to, hey, we've got an average guild level of 65 in our guild. Where are these level 40s going to even partake in this? And I get it. I mean, it might be in-game content, and that I'm fine with that. Well, I got no choice about that, but I'm just saying it might be in-game content for strictly 85s. But I secretly I'm hoping that it's engaging for players that are rising up in the ranks too, where they feel like they're contributing to their guild per se. So I didn't know if you guys gleaned any information about that. Or?
My personal take on it, and miscorrect me if I'm wrong, you probably are more knowledgeable about this, but it seemed to me that they were going to ballpark you together with people of your galactic power. So if you have a 65, they're probably going to have a 65 on their team as well, because you should be in the ballpark of the same galactic power guild versus guild. Was that your understanding as well, Mist?
I honestly haven't read all of the notes that are out about it, so I can't really make any comments.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's okay. That was just my take on it from what I read. So I mean, take that with a grain of salt. I could be inaccurate.
What would be nice is if they kind of, I guess you could say, took a lesson or took a page out of. I don't know if you guys have ever played Clash of Clans. It's been a very long time since I have, but once upon a time, when you would get into a war with another clan, they would inevitably have lower level players, and those lower level players, you basically just say, okay, well, you're Town Hall 6 and he's a Town Hall 6, so you guys just fight each other. So I don't know if that's going to be if there's going to be any kind of similarity between Territory Wars and Clash of Clans, but that would be, I mean, it'd be nice to know that, I mean, if you're level 40 and most of your guild is 60, 70, 80, that you're not just dead weight, I guess, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
So
and I think that's my secret hope is that they are involving like all the players. I mean, I know it's going to be unrealistic for anybody below like level 30 to even be a smidget of contribution, but I'm just saying.
Well, I think there's the level cap of 65 still. I think for territory wars.
That's true too, right? Yeah, exactly. They're going to probably level cap this as well. Okay, yeah.
okay.
So, so transitioning out of there, let's go on to crew and First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter pilot.
Jeez.
I love saying it; just rolls off the tongue. It's, mwah. What's your guys' take on those guys?
So actually, I've got we had a discussion, myself and some of the game changers, and we talked to some of the devs because our initial assessment of these characters was just a little bit off, and so we got some good feedback on how they are really designed to work with each other. And I'm trying to find the conversation here. I'm sorry. I should have been better prepared with this. But goodness gracious. Okay. So I think a lot of us game changers were using him wrong, I guess you could say, because the First Order Special Forces TIE pilot is good, but he's still not going. I mean, you could see from all the gameplay, all the videos that we all made, he's still not double tapping for 18k a pop. So he's not going to be as high damage as the First Order TIE pilot, the original, the OG TIE pilot. So he's going to be good, but you kind of have to build the squad the right way. So I think where a lot of us were like, oh, well, you got to have Captain Phasma because, Victory March is incredible for First Order. Well, and then thinking, oh, well, you've got Kylo Ren unmasked, so why do you need First Order TIE Pilot or First Order Stormtrooper? And a lot of us were forgetting the full kit because I don't think a lot of us were really First Order experts. And so we were kind of playing them wrong. And the biggest thing about First Order Stormtrooper is that he cleanses. And you also have Dispel on his basic whenever he has advantage. So there's a few tiny little mechanics that we were forgetting when we put out all of our videos initially that really help immensely with the success rate of First Order when competing against some of those meta squads that are a little bit more difficult. Because that's one of the biggest problems is that if you're just running Kylo Ren Unmasked as your leader with Phasma, First Order TIE Pilot, First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot, and Kylo Ren, OG Kylo Ren, you don't have a Dispel there. So that was one piece that's really missing. And then if you don't have the First Order officer, then you don't have a cleanse. So it's one of those squads that you have 7 pieces, and mixing and matching them does give you different advantages based on who you use in that squad. So the First Order isn't quite as just generic plug and play like the Night Sisters were. The new Night Sisters were great, but really the only question was, okay, am I going to run Spirit or am I going to run Acolyte? That's really the only question you had. So whereas First Order, you've got, okay, well, am I going to run Kylo Ren for the stun, or and for the turn meter gain on his AoE, or am I going to run First Order's officer for his cleanse and the turn meter removal and the special, the assist? Am I going to run First Order Stormtrooper for the Dispel? So it's one of those pieces that they have a lot of little mechanics that are unique to each character, and I think that depending on what you need, you have that flexibility to mix and match the First Order. So I think they did a really good job of creating 2 new characters that provide that level of diversity that a whale who's going out and spending the money to get those new characters to gear them up and have a full Gear 12 First Order squad can enjoy, or a newer player may decide, okay, well, I don't really need to go First Order TIE Pilot. I'm going to go First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot. Or just say, well, the First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot looks cool, but I'm going to just stay the course on the First Order's TIE Pilot, and I'll get the, instead of getting First Order Officer, maybe they'll decide to go Kylo Ren Unmasked and just have a squad with Phasma, Kylo Ren Unmasked, First Order Stormtrooper, First Order TIE Pilot, and maybe Kylo Ren. So I think that they did a pretty good job of providing 2 new characters that didn't, they weren't vastly OP like Commander Luke Skywalker, where it's like, oh my god, I don't have Kylo Ren Unmasked, I'm going to lose every match in Arena now. So they did a good job of introducing 2 new characters that kind of increased the breadth of the First Order. So I think it was pretty cool. I think they're 2 new characters that are really fun to play. So I think they did a pretty good job.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I saw your video on Kylo Ren Unmasked, and I'm not going to lie, maybe I missed the mark in my own video on it. And in that, I basically really got hyped because that, I think it's called Halt is the ability. I was super jazzed up on that. I was like, oh my god, that seems OP. But, I can only base it off of the 3-star version, and usually tanks you can get away with at that lower star level. But, yeah, I may have miscalled that one.
So, funny note, a lot of us were thinking, holy cow, it's a 2-turn stun. That's unprecedented. Director Krennic actually does have a 2-turn stun.
Oh.
He does. It's on his special ability that does a specific effect based on the type of character, class of character that he's attacking. And if you omega that ability, it increases the duration of the effect by 1 turn, which means it's a 2-turn stun, a 2-turn ability block, or a 2-turn. Trying to remember what the other.
Do you remember what the stun is against? Like what kind it is?
I believe it's attackers. I believe he stuns attackers.
So I don't own Krennic. I've never put anything into him yet. So
I would have to defer to Arnold on this one because he's the dark side, the Empire connoisseur. But I was looking over Krennic because when they were announced, they were like 2 of the newest characters that I got super hyped about because their kits are amazing. I loved their synergy, and I've been farming Krennic nonstop. So they're just a really good duo, and unfortunately, they just got really overshadowed. Or they didn't really shine when they came out because I think they were overshadowed by. Oh, geez. I know that there was another squad or some other characters that came out that basically...
Was that they just Baze time? Baze?
Yes, okay. That was the Chirrut. They came out with the rest of the Rogue One squad, so Chirrut and Baze just kind of like, okay, well, Krennic can't do anything against Shays, so why would you go farm Krennic? But he is a lot of fun. I think I have him 55 out of 100, so I'm getting there. I've got another month to go. That last 50 shards, right? But
struggle is real.
I know, gosh. But it's a really cool kit. I know we kind of just segued off of the First Order there, but yeah, Krennic does have a 2-turn stun. We'll go back to the original conversation there. It's amazing.
Great. And Keriel, did you have anything you wanted to add about the 2 new characters? As a new player, did they help you out at all or anything?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, they're going to help me out on my Dark Side 5 table. So that was great. I mean, just grabbing something like that. But I'm an experienced player, and I think the writing, I can guess. This First Order reveal, I'm pretty sure they're going to be adding even more to this kit. So there's going to be a lot more. I think they're going to go with the movie release. there's going to be resistance. There's going to be first order, and like Miss was saying, the whole filling in the package of the cleanse, having the other tank now, they're because what is the biggest complaint in this game? I mean, I've been reading for like 2 weeks now. The biggest complaint is that there's no dark side antithesis to Commander Luke Skywalker. There's no dark side. There's not a yin and yang in this game. It's all light side.
Right.
And I just feel like they're fluffing it. I think they're gonna start going all in on, okay, well, we're gonna throw dark side until it hits, until we can get an even meta. And I just think that first order is gonna be the first salvo. So, but I mean, that's just me looking kind of as an outside looker at the game and without your guys' information. But it feels squirrely the way they release free promo stuff and then the movies coming out with all that stuff. They're gonna I think they're gonna go ham on it. That's my guess.
I know there are a lot of people who are really hoping for a lot more dark side love. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. Like it seems like we got dark side territory battles. We know that's coming. They got. I'm sure there's going to be an influx for a little bit, but that's pure speculation. All right, so that's pretty much the news in the nutshell this week. That reminds me, next week we're not going to be on. It's Thanksgiving here in the States. Sorry for all of you outside of the States. So. But you're going to have to bear with us. It is we're going to be taking a week off, and then we'll be coming back next Thursday. So stay tuned then. But for right now, let's go ahead and of course we'll talk about the news over the 2-week time span, so that may be a little bit of a longer segment in 2 weeks. So for right now, let's just go ahead and the central focus of today's podcast is the new player experience. Keriel obviously is a brand new player. I'm still consider myself, a mid-game player, I guess, just because I just hit level 85. I'm working on like my 4th and 5th squads. I definitely don't consider myself end game by any stretch of the imagination. So let's go ahead and start tackling, what you guys think out of the new player experience. What is your read currently? Keriel, we got into that a little bit last week. Obviously, you're following my new player guide, which was, to go Phoenix, and missed. I maybe you didn't have time to check that video out. It was kind of long.
I've been swamped.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Honestly, I don't even watch some of the other Game Changers videos unless I really have the time. And I feel bad. And I think a lot of them are the same way. Like, I have to, like, ask them to check out my video. Like, hey, give this a look. Like, is there anything, like, just kind of weird? Like, am I just crazy? Am I crazy here? Yeah. Am I completely off base? So, yeah.
Well, I think that Keriel wanted to go ahead and ask you some questions, and I have some questions on your read on the new player experience. So, Keriel, why don't you go ahead and kick it off, man?
So, and this question is basically it's a lot to unpack, but it's one of those where it's kind of encapsulates this channel. So or this vibe of what we're doing. If you were to do it, let's time machine back. If you were to do it from the beginning all over again with your knowledge base right now, and let me preface it, you had to be free to play. What do you think at level 85 would your team look like as a free to play?
That's a really.
It's a huge question. I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I maybe just like, don't try to unpack it too far, but kind of what would be your end game on a free to play guy?
If I were to start it all over again, I think I would probably, and I wasn't allowed to spend a dime.
Right.
Then I would probably start out. I would probably follow, and I hate to just toot my own horn, but I would probably follow a lot of my own advice. Go Phoenix from the get-go, with Lando, making sure that I had because you got to have scoundrels to get the credits and the training droids and everything else. That's a given. But I would probably have, honestly, for all the hate I threw at Phoenix when they first came out, because you can go back and watch my videos. I was not a Phoenix fan. I was a skeptic. But I would probably have gone Phoenix. And honestly, with their new Zetas, you could probably ride Phoenix into the sunset. They're not that great on defense. I've fought them on defense on my test account because Cubs fan Han threw a full Zeta Gear 12 Phoenix squad out there, and Night Sisters walked all over them. But they have that climbing power like Resistance. So they have that very good PvE with a very good, decent offensive PvP power to them. On defense, they do kind of fall. But I think I would probably have, honestly, I think my arena squad would probably either look similar to the way it looks now, where I currently run Rex, OG Han Solo, so Rancor Han, General Kenobi, Thrawn, and R2. So it would probably be either that squad, if I was able to get the pieces I need to get Thrawn, which I'm going to have Phoenix. And it would really just depend on my guild, because really the only walls that you find yourself behind for Han Solo and General Kenobi is guild. If you're in a good guild that you can get the shards for Kenobi and Han Solo, they're two of the best characters in the game, especially with Han Solo's new rework. He's an amazing character. So even if you're a new character that you just have one level, like 7-star character that you can just post a 0 in a raid and get shards, he is he's awesome. His rework, he is one of my new favorite. Like, he was one of my favorite characters before. I used him in arenas, but now he's like really arena viable. I kind of had to take him out of my squad because of pre-taunts like Shore Trooper and Baze. But I think if I were to do it all over again, I think it would, Phoenix, man. I think honestly,
So
Zeb Zeta is awesome. It's hard. Oh my gosh.
So when you go from Phoenix, what okay, if you had to list like the next teams that you would start developing after Phoenix, what do you think you would go with there?
Threxus. It's kind of a slang term for Rex, Thrawn, Nihilus, being the core trio of that squad. And since you have other characters that you can throw into that, you can throw Barasathi into that squad. Basically, Rex, I think, is one of the best all-around arena leaders. He has been able to survive countless metas. Rex was incredible when he was very first introduced to the game, like a year and a half ago. I think he was one of the very first premium characters that Wales had access to that free-to-play didn't. Unless you were out and you went and rolled the dice on chromiums, you couldn't get Rex for a really long time. So when he came free-to-play, I went all in on him because Rex is amazing. So if you don't have Rex, if you're a new player watching this video and you don't have Phoenix, but you are looking for an alternative, great arena leader, Rex, you can literally plug and play him into almost any squad, and he excels. General Kenobi, if you're in a guild, if you happen to be fortunate enough to be in a guild that you can get General Kenobi and have access to General Kenobi, he is there. The Kenobi hype is real. He is not overhyped. He is an amazing tank. There are alternatives to Kenobi, but none as good as Kenobi. So he's kind of the full deal, where he can swap debuffs into buffs. He can give retribution. He calls a full assist, the full team, and he's got a ton of health and protection. He's just the full package tank.
So with Thrawn in that mix, then, so I would safely assume you would go like Phoenix Squad into Empire and develop Rex all the meanwhile.
Or just throw Thrawn into any squad that you got Rex in. I mean, Thrawn. There's a reason that Phoenix is so great, because number one, you got a great Rebel squad and great synergy, great PvE. I think you were saying that with Phoenix, you can breeze through your Galactic War, right? Level
Yeah,
54?
my Galactic War is actually pretty entertaining to me. You guys keep on calling it the Galactic Chore. My Galactic War, pretty simple. I literally press the attack on Chopper and then hit auto, and it just goes through. Don't lose any guys.
Why do
And
you hit the attack on Chopper? You just don't want him to talk all
I,
the time?
I'll tell you why. Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Because if I, with the Galactic War, basically, yeah, it's just simply a matter of his not triggering his taunt, so he gets bursted out. Because after the first round, they build their debuff, they build their buffs up, they build their protection, they build their shields up, and at that point, they're untouchable. So after that, I can just throw it on auto.
So yeah, there you go. There's one of the main reasons that Phoenix is amazing. On top of that, you got access to Thrawn. You've got access to Emperor Palpatine, who are two of the better Empire in the game. Which you need Empire for R2, who is also incredible in the game. So, and I mean, honestly, in game, R2 plays a huge role in protecting your squad against Commander Luke Skywalker squads. R2 is kind of one of those like secret weapons against Commander Luke Skywalker because stealth prevents counterattacks, and that's one of the big advantages of the Commander Luke Skywalker squad is all of the counterattacks that he gives rebels. So R2 is incredible. So if you have Phoenix, you're basically setting yourself up for success.
Perfect.
It's kind of like a waterfall effect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. Did you have any other questions about new player stuff there, Keriel?
No, I mean, it's no, not really. I think that was my main question was, I didn't, there's so much to unpack. I did kind of want to add some nuance to this Phoenix squad. A lot of folks, a lot of the YouTube content makers are talking about the Phoenix squad, and it really is the good starter group. I think if I was to give advice as well as because I'm frontline soldier right now, I would almost spend all of my crystals on Cantina refreshes because because you don't need gear as fast as I mean, missed if you could correct me or play devil's advocate on this train of thought here, but I just missed out by 20 shards going for Emperor Palpatine shards. And I think if I would have, from the beginning, 16 days ago, been refreshing Cantina, I would have done it. So my suggestion would be Cantina refreshes all the way so that you can 5-star it, so that your Phoenix squad will be ready for events, will be ready for mod challenges. So you can 5-star to get ready for mod challenges. And I would actually take a back burner. I would put more emphasis on the stars to gear. I put more emphasis on gear, and it's garnished me a really high arena rating for a free-to-play player. But I think I missed out on some free resources by not having my squad at the 5-star level. So
Yeah,
that's it. I would preface it with that. I would put a little bit of nuance on it and do it that way.
I think that's a good point. If you are going to, and that's going to go into my, that is a big piece of my crystal management guide, is using crystals judiciously and making the, you doing the right thing with your crystals, because obviously as a free to play, especially without that crystal subscription pack that went away. I don't know if you were playing the game when they took it away. That was one of the best packs in the game. Like for any player free to play, because it was the ultimate minnow pack. Like if you were a dedicated player, you got your crystals every day, and you got like $20 of crystals for $11. So it was a great deal, and it helped with your conservation as well because you weren't just getting a bulk load of 22,000 crystals, you were getting an extra 100 crystals a day. So it would help you with your, I guess you could say, tempered spending, where you
Discipline.
were
Yeah.
exactly your discipline. So you were able to roll that 100 extra crystals a day into either an extra Cantina refresh or 2 extra regular refreshes, and so it didn't really feel like you were. And it would, I mean, I come from playing. I played World of Warcraft for like 7 years, so
Uh-oh.
I was used to paying $15 a month to play a game. You know what I mean? So
Oh, we
so
know. We both
Yeah.
played WoW together for.
Signed up for that.
yeah, so you know the feeling. So if you were going to spend $12 a month for 2,200 crystals, it wasn't a big deal. You're like, okay, I play this game every day. It's worth it. It's not. I'm not wasting money. So, um, for a player who is, or a gamer, I should say, who's used to that, subscription service and everything else when it comes to gaming, the Crystal Pack was awesome. So taking it away, I think, was a huge hit to a lot of the lighter spenders in the game, and unfortunately, there's no return in sight that I've heard of. I really have been kind of, asking on and on and on, like, hey, any idea when the Crystal subscription pack's gonna come? Ain't got any more of that crack. I don't know if you guys watched Dave Chappelle, but yeah. So,
Try not to make a reference. Keep it PC. Oh, Jesus. Resist urge to.
yeah, you can edit that out if you want, but
Oh, no,
no.
not at all. Not at all. I was saying I'm about to say something worse. So, no, yeah, you're good. I definitely am familiar with Dave Chappelle's work.
Yeah. Okay. So, at any rate, back on topic now. Yeah. So crystals, energy refreshes definitely are. Spoiler alert: crystals are definitely the best investment. I would probably say that cantinas are great. I probably wouldn't burn all 3. I would probably burn 1 or 2,
Yeah.
if you can afford it, and then get 1 or 2 regular energy refreshes. The reason there is you get more sim tickets from a regular
Right.
energy refresh versus a Cantina energy refresh. And when you think about it, if you're getting 120 Cantina energy and you're doing either Hera or Ezra's node, that's 80 energy a pop. I'm not real good at math right off the top of my head, but 80 goes into 120 a lot more times than 10. So I think it's 12. No, not 12. Let's see. So it's it's
15.
midnight. It's midnight. I should be sleeping. So is it 15? Yeah,
Yeah.
15 sounds great.
15.
So, that, I mean, you're basically burning. It's a net loss of sim tickets unless you get good drops on sim ticket back. So it's either a loss or a net break even if you get 5 sim tickets from your sim. So if you get a 33% drop rate on sim tickets, you will probably break even on sim tickets for Cantina refreshes. Whereas if you're doing a regular energy refresh, again, I'm giving away probably half of my freaking video on crystals, on my crystal management guide. But if you're doing regular energy refreshes, you're getting 20 sim tickets. And if you go and do hard mode battles, because hard mode battles are a very good return on investment, because you're not only getting character shards, but you're also getting gear, and a lot of those hard nodes have the gear that you need. So if
Right.
you're farming the gear that you need from hard nodes, you're getting character shards, which everybody loves character shards. Plus, you're getting the possibility of sim tickets back. You're getting a lot more training droids. You're getting more credits. You're getting more overall resources. Now, granted, you're spending double the energy, but you're saving the sim tickets. So if you're doing a 16 energy hard node, you're going to burn 80 energy. So almost you're 2/3 of that 120 energy, only 5 of your 20 sim tickets. So you're going to pile on those sim tickets fast if you're doing the regular energy refreshes and only using those sim tickets on hard nodes. So that is kind of one of the secrets to building up that sim ticket supply.
And that is a great segue. All right, so we reached out on Twitter, on Discord, and on Facebook for player questions to find out. I let them know that Mist was coming on the show, so got a little bit more involvement out of the community on this one, I think. But
Cool.
so basically, we can all kind of share maybe in some of these answers, and we'll just shoot it straight at you first, Mist, and then we'll kind of go over and see if there's any difference of opinion or what have you. All right, so the first question was with the chain, or no. This was the segue I was thinking of. Am I spreading myself too thin with the hard node battles? Should I only do one at a time? And that was from Cap'n6665.
So I actually had a very good conversation with Grand Patreon. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's another YouTuber.
Grand Patron over at the RSG podcast?
Yes. Grand Patron. He is actually, I had a really good conversation with him last week in regards to hard modes, because when I gave out my energy conservation guide, I had mentioned that, don't go crazy on hard nodes. And he actually talked to me, basically gave me a good counter argument, which was part of the sim ticket conversation, that he is a huge proponent of hard nodes. He thinks that the best way to farm is hard nodes. So the rationale was 1, sim tickets, 2, energy, bang for your buck, and then 3, was kind of theorizing. He's not 100% sure, but if we figure if there is, and this would take an immense amount of time and immense amount of resources to test, if the drop rate on gear on a hard node is doubled, which I don't know if it is or if it isn't, I would probably be more inclined to say it's the same as a regular node. The return on investment still is very good. Like if you're farming Poe's hard node comes with stun cuffs. One of the most sought after pieces of gear in the game. So a lot of hard nodes do have the gear that you need. And if you're farming hard nodes, you may not be getting as much gear as you need as fast as you'd like to be getting it. But unless it's like those little Mark 1 pieces that are, you can get 2 or 3 out of for like 6 energy on a node. Some pieces of gear may actually, if you are patient. See, that's the other thing is patience. You can only do 5 of each hard node. So if you're trying to farm a piece of gear and you need 10 of them, and you can only do 5 hard nodes, you're obviously going to go to a regular node after that, But I think that the trick is finding the balance. You can't. A Grand Patron would probably say that you couldn't do too many hard nodes, where I think that there is that fine balance of finding the, spend all of your energy that you get in the day on hard nodes, and then maybe burn 1 refresh on regular energy nodes to farm that 1 piece of gray or green gear that you need to get another character to gear 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever it may be. So I think that it's hard to say spread yourself too thin, because there was once upon a time where I was farming Nihilis's hard node, Shore Troopers hard node, Krennic's hard node, First Order Stormtroopers 3 hard nodes, and Baze's hard node.
So pretty much you never got gear at that point?
I was basically only getting the gear that was from those hard nodes. And then if I absolutely needed to, I would omit maybe 1 or 2 of the First Order Stormtroopers lower level, lower tiered hard nodes and actually farm gear with that extra energy. But there was once upon a time where I was pretty much all of my time, all of my energy was tied up in those 5 or 6 characters. It was nuts. And so I understand the feeling of being overwhelmed with all of the hard nodes, especially when you find yourself fresh 85. It's like, holy crap! Well, now I've got to, I'm still farming Hoth Rebel Soldier. I've got First Order Stormtrooper. I've got all these stage 9 hard nodes that are so good. And
Bays, Nihilus,
yes, Bays, Nihilus, Short Trooper, Krennic.
Yeah.
You've got so many options, so many great characters, and they seemed to just go on a kick for however long it was, where every new character, when they went free to play, was going to a single hard node.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's like, yay, one more stinking hard node I gotta farm. And then it's kind of bittersweet when they raised it from 3 to 5 on the limit for hard nodes, because it was like, holy cow, I can actually get more shards now, but that's an extra 24 energy I gotta spend to do it. Crap. So it was like, oh my gosh. And then it's 32 if it's a 16 and 40 energy if it's a 20. So holy cow. So
I pretty much agree with your sentiment. Like, I think that hard nodes are very important. You shouldn't always put them on a back burner. Definitely, you have to do them every single day for your daily activities. Okay, so, and then whatever your guild requirements are. So, for instance, if it's light side or dark side battles, you definitely want to make sure that you're doing some hard notes. That way you're getting something out of it. But I think it's a little bit different. He didn't say what level he was. So if you're more in Keriel's position, then I would probably say do some hard notes, but I wouldn't do a real heavy investment. I would say maybe one full energy thing you're spending throughout the day, or one refresh in addition. But I don't think you go ham on it, because I think there's so much gear you need to develop early on so many different characters, that I think you might run into spreading yourself too thin if you're in that lower bracket.
Yeah, and I think you just added the perspective that I was going to present was, yeah, I mean, I was really grabbing 20 pieces of salvage for one piece of gear was really daunting. When I first saw that come up, I was like, okay, that's a lot. And especially when you guys were talking, or when you start, I'm not even talking hard modes, y'all. I'm talking table 5 where it's 8 energy, and I get burnt out on that. I literally
just wait, Keriel. As soon as you get to gear 8 on your feeding squad, you're gonna pull your hair out with how many curb bounties you're gonna have to throw.
Yeah. So I mean,
are you trying to make him quit the game?
Right. I mean, I get a little bit of heartburn when I have to spend 8 energy on gear, and because going from 6 to 8 at this point, right? So like the table 4 and below is 6, and then table 5 and up is 8, and I'm sure it goes up from there. But as to hard modes, like maybe if I'm feeling like luxurious, I go for some Sabine hard nodes, and that's me being free willy with my energy. That's like, I gotta burn this energy before I go to bed or something. So I don't think I'm at the point yet where I realistically in a point where I can farm hard nodes per se.
I think there's probably an excuse for you to probably and this is just a suggestion. Resistance Trooper would be one that I would consider, because you can only get it out of guild nodes and through the hard nodes. So that's one that you could start easily farming every single day.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. If I see
good call. Hoth Rebels.
He's on 5D.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I've heard about him too. But don't get me wrong. So if I see a green dot on the piece of equipment I need, I'll spend the energy, and I'll be like, yeah, that'd be great if I get a shard out of it. But there's not a real concentrated effort to go for hard nodes, just because, I mean, my guy like 80 pieces of freaking materials right now, so it's like, okay, just 8. and multi-sim. So it takes me literally almost a whole day to get 20 pieces of mats. So as a free-to-play player at level 50, that's just where I'm at. So it's like,
Until it takes you a whole week.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not complaining too hard yet, but
Oh yeah, and then you gotta wait for raids. Oh yeah, that's a good thing too. Yeah. So much to look forward to. Like I'm sitting there, like I'm like, okay, come on, guild store or shard shop, come on, give me the yellow pieces so that way I can get my R2 up to gear 12, please. Like the struggle is real, and you're just like, oh, just wait. Oh, it didn't refresh in my luck. Better luck in 6 hours.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, great answers. Next question was, with the change to ships having rewards and now giving out crystals, what should I prioritize as a free to play player? Ships or squad arena? And that was from Doofin2490.
So that is a very, very, very dependent question because I can honestly tell you no two shards are the same. You could be the only active player on your ship shard, and staying in the top 20 is cake. So that extra 100 crystals, you can count on it every single day. Or you could be in a crazy active shard in Ship Arena where you're going to get knocked back out of the top 200 every day after clawing your way back up into the top 50. So ships is just real hit or miss. You either find yourself on a really active shard, a semi-active shard, or just nobody gives a flying hoot about ships. So
I'd imagine
ships
there's got to be a good like amount of people. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it seems like
Oh no,
there
you're
would be a
fine.
lot of people like gravitating toward the idea of doing ships because now it does have crystals as an incentive, right?
No, I did see a very, very big change in the level of activity in my ship arena when crystals got added because I could sit in the top 10 every day before crystals got added, and now it's like I don't have the time. So now I've been knocked out of the top 50, which I can fight back down to 20 if I really wanted to, but it's a time investment. It's it requires maintenance and upkeep and stuff I don't really want to do, and so the motivation factors. But yeah, if you find yourself on a ship shard where you can stay in the top 20 easy, heck yes, count on it. Make those little tiny buy the ship shards or ship blueprints. Sorry, I keep calling them shards. Buy the blueprints out of Galactic War for those ships that you use. I mean, Wedge and Biggs, Clone, Sergeant, Geonosian Soldiers, Starfighter. There are a lot of really good ships that you can get easily out of Galactic War. And then there are the really other good ships, which we, segued from Phoenix. We didn't talk about Phoenix ships, Ghost and Phantom. If you're running Home 1 as your capital ship, Ghost and Phantom have great Rebel synergy with, ta-da, Wedge and Biggs. So you can farm their ships out of Fleet Store and have a pretty good Rebel squad to be flying in Ship Arena and actually be competitive. Whereas Squad Arena, that's where everybody is competing. Everybody is interested in Squad Arena because everybody wants to shoot for that top 500 crystal payout. Now, if you are on a arena squad that has a shard chat, that is one thing that I would highly encourage. If you are able to get into the top 50, I would highly recommend, even if you're in the top 100, go and look on the forums, look through Discord, see if you've got contacts who can hook you up with a shard chat. Like if you, and when I say shard chat, I mean either a Discord server or a line chat room or even a group me, or I mean any number of chat apps are out there where people will get together to coordinate payouts. And that is going to be a huge, huge help if you are serious about climbing up to the top 10 even, or even the top spot in your arena shard. a shard chat will go a long way in helping you get to where you want to be without fighting an entire shard worth of enemies. You can basically form alliances. I mean, not right, I use alliances, but basically, if you can coordinate with other players on your arena shard, you're not fighting. You're not constantly getting knocked back because those people know who you are. They're like, oh well, I'll fight this guy who's not in chat. Excuse me, who's not in chat because I don't know him.
Now, I've
You know what I
heard,
mean? So
absolutely, and I've heard this recommendation time and time again, and it just so happened that I kind of luck sacked into it because one of the guys changed his name um, to his Discord name, and so I
I've
was like,
seen that.
oh, okay, great. So I was able to actually hook up with my own group then. But I felt like I luck sacked into it because I hear this advice thrown out a lot, get into that Discord chat or whatever it is. But I wasn't able to personally find a way other than the fact that the guy changed his name to his Discord name. How do you actively seek out those chats?
So that's a good question. That's it's basically a multi-tier question. So I actually have helped several people find their shard chats just because I mean, just I have my connections. I'm in, I think probably I have close to 24 Discord servers. So between all of those Discord servers, I have a lot of different people that I can get in touch with. I can find people from different guilds. I mean, this game is international. So being able to find those players who are European time zones, Australian, uh, Asian, there are people literally all over the world playing this game, and they are all in your arena shard. You will
Yeah,
find people in Germany, in England, in Australia, in Korea,
I got a lot of
all
Russians
over.
and a lot of Japanese.
Yeah, so your shard may be a little bit harder, but and then honestly, you just do a Google search, swgoh.gg, and then a player's name, and sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll catch, that Google search will kick back his swgoh.gg profile. So you can find people there. If you are on the forums, the official forums, sometimes there are people looking for shard chat. So you can get on the official forums and search there. Um, don't be afraid to ask around because you never know if somebody might be able to find somebody in your shard chat. And then if you are feeling froggy, change your name. Do what that one guy on your shard did. Change your in-game name to your Discord ID. You might find that your arena shard is like, oh hey, this guy had his Discord ID. Let's bring him in. So you know,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
little things like that. If you really want to find your shard chat, there are plenty of resources out there. I have my Discord server. If you go to any of my videos, I have a link to my Discord server in the description below. Um, and if you want me to, I can send you a link to my Discord server to put into the description on this video.
Oh,
Uh,
we will definitely take care.
yeah, because if you're serious about trying to find your shard, I will ask around. I will try and help you out. And I know that there are other servers, big servers, like Arnold T101. He has a massive Discord server. His Discord server has like probably 5 times as many, 10 times probably as many people as on my Discord server. And other players like McMole2 has his own Discord server. I think Mobile Gamer has a Discord server. Basically, there are tons of Discord servers out there, and if you are able to find somebody who's in a huge guild alliance like BHG, Team Instinct, or the Alliance, or uh, um, any number of other big conglomerate guilds out there, they have Discord servers. So if you can find somebody who's in one of those and be like, hey, is there any way that you can find this guy for me? He's on my arena shard. So that's another thing is look in your top 20, top 50, and if you can find somebody who's got the TI logo in front of their name or the BHG in front of their, check their guilds. If they're in a BHG guild or if they're in a TI guild or if they're in an Alliance guild, you may be able to find them that way, and if they're in an arena shard, that may be your in to the arena shard chat. So there are a lot of ways to find your arena shard chat, and so it's really just a networking game. Find a guy who has the in, and then go just chase that rabbit down the hole.
That's great tips, and I hope Keriel that's helpful information to you too, right? Because you're not a part of a Discord, are you?
Oh, yeah, no,
For your arena shard, I mean.
Hey, man, I'm 40. Yeah, I'll admit it right now. Like, I'm not super adept on the tech. I tried to dive into the Reddit cesspool today. That was pretty brutal.
Remind everyone, what do you do for your occupation, sir?
Oh, I'm IT, man.
Oh, okay.
So dude, I'm just like,
Oh
I
my
hate.
gosh!
Yeah.
Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit is just. I questioned my humanity after coming out of it after like 20 minutes. I was like, oh my
You
god.
to take a shower.
You're like, dude, I'm
Yeah.
such an edgelord. I'm gonna have to kill myself after reading all that crap.
Yeah.
That's Reddit. That's good
don't
times.
Just don't go to our gamers. Our
Oh,
just
yeah.
don't go there. Don't go there.
But yeah, definitely want to try to get onto some sort of Discord with you, Chris, well, what I think I'll try to branch out from there. I'll flower like a little winter flower. So
Okay, well, that was awkward at best. Thank you. All right, so let's try and wrap up these last questions because it's getting late, and I'm sure it's getting even later for you there, Mist. Meh. Okay, fair enough. Way to be a trooper.
Let's get going. All night.
Dude. Yeah.
I'll put on a pot of coffee. Let's do this.
37 years old. I drink coffee. I'll be up until 4 a.m. in the morning, and I'll be starting to clean the house like I'm some crackhead. So moving on, 2 more questions. What mods do you guys regularly focus on? Poo Throwing Monkey 007.
Okay. Oh, I can't even narrow it down to 3 mod sets.
Well, while you think about it, then I'll throw out my 2 cents if that works for you. Okay. So the first thing that I did is I pretty much only did health. Health mods, once I was able to get up to tier 3, I just focused on health, and I was just looking for the secondary stat of speed, except for on the arrow. I wanted the primary stat to be speed. And I pretty much did that for my arena team only, because I didn't want to spread myself too thin with mods and still leveling up my characters and whatnot. Then from speed, now I'm just beginning to transition out of speed, and I'm working toward getting a good potency set for my resistance team. And then after I have that potency set in place, my primary focus is going to transition into speed. So, go ahead with what your take is on it.
So I am a huge fan of crit damage. So I went after crit damage mods fairly early on. I believe that required Jawas, if I'm not mistaken.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so it is a very hard set to grind. So if you're not in a position to dedicate the resources to getting those stinking Jawas to 5 stars, which I wouldn't blame you if you weren't willing to make that investment, because Jawas are really only good for the mod challenge. Let's be real. Yeah, so yeah, if anybody out there is like actively farming Jawas right now with the end goal of having a Jawa super squad, your will be falling flat on their face very, very quickly.
You say that, and then all of a sudden CG reworks Jawas, and they're just like OP.
I know, right?
You're like, no!
I wouldn't put it past them. So if you aren't in a position to go towards crit damage, I would highly recommend Crit Chance. Crit Chance because they are scoundrels. Scoundrels are required for your credit heists and your droid smuggling events, so you're going to naturally have scoundrels. So the crit chance mods should be a set that you should be able to go out and get. And let's be real, the crit damage mod sets are really only good for a handful of really high damage characters, where you're going to want to run the crit damage set with a crit damage primary stat triangle mod to get up over 200% crit damage. That's the only reason that crit damage sets are really, really good. Otherwise, crit chance is really good, because also crit damage requires a 4-piece to get the bonus, whereas crit chance only requires 2 pieces to get the set bonus. And then I would say potency and speed. So if I were to rank them in no particular order, I would say crit chance, speed, and potency, because everybody gonna need potency. And then speed sets are really, really good for characters like Thrawn or Ezra, even Zeb. Zeb benefits really well from a crit or a speed set. He doesn't have as high of a base speed, but you'd be surprised at how much that 10% speed actually ends up being. So I think speed set is one of those top tier sets that is really good for so many characters in the game.
And Keriel, you're not really at that point, right? Like, because you're just about to hit 5 stars on your Phoenix, right?
Yeah, I'm more interested in going 5 stars than clearing the 3 tables of the mods. So yeah, I'm just running the basic health that they've given me, and
Sure.
I don't know, I might have did this wrong, but I spent about 4 million credits, and I just leveled them all to level 15. They're super crappy mods, but I actually had like a good bank of credits, and I was just like, I didn't care. So it was kind of an interesting strategy, because I knew I wasn't going to be getting the tier 5 mods for until I was 5-starred. So I was like, okay, I'll just roll with these and just roll their secondary stats. And I spent about 4 million. I probably got like, couple of mods that have 4 or 5 speed on them. And so yeah, I didn't really do anything in regards to farming anything. I haven't farmed a single mod. So
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that you're going a good route. Farming mods is, gosh, it's so hard. I put off mod farming like up until so I just finished my commander or Captain Han Solo, and up until finishing him, I hadn't farmed mods in probably 6 to 8 months. So yeah.
So either you got
because
busted mods in the beginning, or you really neglected it. Which one was it?
so I got some really good luck from the mod store. Believe it or not, mod store is probably where I get some of my best mods.
Nice.
Always check that place, always, because you never know what's going to pop up. Like just the other day, I had a square mod pop up. It was purple quality with speed secondary on it for 3 point something mil. I was like, done. So that's the other thing. Keep a savings account. It sounds ridiculous, but keep a savings account, because you never know when those crazy mods are going to pop up in your mod store that could turn into the next 15 speed secondary mod that you got in your collection. So, yeah, I got fortunate that I had some decent sets already, so that when all these Cantina characters just kept coming out, like, you gotta farm this guy in Cantina, and this guy in Cantina, and this guy in Cantina. It's like, holy crap! When am I gonna farm mods? So definitely get your Phoenix to 5 stars, because obviously you need that to at least unlock Palpatine.
Right. Yep.
And then if you are able to and can mentally break yourself away from, I have this character to farm, this character to farm, this character to farm, and maybe spend a week out of every couple weeks farming mods, I mean, they're 100% drop rate. So good on CG for fixing that 100% drop rate on mods. So if you can break away even just, maybe just set aside 1 day a week to go farm mods. If you can't just farm mods for a straight week, set aside 1 day to go farm mods. And because you can't completely neglect mods, because otherwise everybody else on your arena server is going to have better mods than you, and next thing you know, you're going to be freaking falling all the way back to 300s. So it's finding that fine balance, and it's hard. It is really hard. It it is so hard. I hate Cantina Energy, and I hate farming mods, because it seems like you can spend that 2 days farming mods, and it's like, wow, I just wasted all of that energy on nothing. I got nothing. So it's really demoralizing to farm mods. I think that's one of the biggest downsides of farming mods, is it's so agonizingly demoralizing, especially when you get to the end game where it's like the only secondary stat that matters is speed, and you don't get any speed secondaries, and you're just like, wait, okay, just wasting all my energy.
Yeah.
Really disheartening. So then the last question, we've kind of already fielded it just through like the series of topics and kind of getting off the track on just about everything, but it's fun.
Oh, of course.
Well, good times. So the last question was, what would you spend your crystals on as a free-to-play player? This was given to us by Grimace Gives Me Nightmares. And so, like I said, this is best name ever, right? Is that we kind of talked about it. Basically, refreshes should pretty much be the only thing as a free-to-play player that you should be spending your crystals on. If anybody else have a difference of opinion?
Like I said earlier, I would lean more towards Cantina than Yellow. But that's just because if you concentrate on getting a squad up to 5 stars, that's the only way you're going to get them to 5 stars is out of the Cantina, basically. So,
I would, if we were to, let's drill down on that question just a little bit and hit a topic that we haven't really hit on much, and that's shipments. What gear is worth buying in shipments? Because we didn't really touch on that, and this will be a topic that I touch on in the video, is what gear is worth it. And I would highly recommend the holo projectors. They're 300 crystals a pop, and they remove such a massive headache in the farming department. So holo projectors, they're little shower drain looking, swirly looking things. The Mark III holo projectors, they're only 300 crystals a pop, and they're great. They're worth it. And I would say Mark V furnaces. The Mark V fusion furnace. It's a great bang for your buck, because not only does it include the I believe it's the Mark VI hypo spray. I may be mistaken. It's the one that you get from the challenges. It requires 50 salvage of that, 50 Mark V fusion furnace salvage, and a holo projector. So if you just bought the hypo spray and the holo projector separately, and then had to use the salvage plus the fusion furnace salvage to create the complete fusion furnace, you would be spending just the hypo spray and the holo projector together are 1,700 crystals, and you can get a complete fusion furnace for 1,400 crystals. So if you're going to save up and buy them, I think the fusion furnace is a great deal. The holo projector, obviously. And then if you are interested in buying I think a lot of people discount the fact that you can buy the salvage for your Mark III Carbantes, the Mark V stun cuffs, and the Mark V stun guns, and the Mark III stun cuffs. So many freaking gear pieces to keep straight. Buying the salvage for those is a great way to just kind of, okay, well, I've got 38 Mark III Carbante salvage. I don't want to buy a full one for 1,400 crystals, but I can buy 20 salvage for only, I think it's like 450 crystals or 400 crystals or what it is for 20.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's a great deal. You know, it's it's a
That-
killer deal. So I
Absolutely.
think that buying those little bits of salvage are great. So if you're going to spend your crystals on gear, those are the things I would spend it on. I wouldn't go and spend it on like the complete Mark 8, what's it called? The biotech implant is a terrible deal. It's a terrible deal.
Sure. All right. So it looks like Keriel, you have to take off.
Yeah. I'm getting late, guys. Sorry, but yeah, it's a really cool event.
It gives us a chance to kind of just wrap up. Anyway, that was the last question for our Q&A segment. So basically, I want to take this time to thank Keriel and Mist here for coming on the show and chatting about the new player experience. Hopefully you guys can glean a little bit of information out of that. And, with all of our chatting and kind of got off topic a lot, but it was a fun journey and we hope you enjoyed it.
Like I said, squirrels, man, all over the place.
They are a thing. So what we're going to do is in the description of this video, and probably I'm going to put some links over here and here that are going to be to Mist channel. So if you want to go over there, subscribe to him, view his content. He's got so much. If you have not had the chance to view Mist content, it's some of the best stuff actually out there. And you're really doing yourself a disservice by not having seen it by now. So go over to his channel. Please subscribe. Please view his stuff. It's really great and you won't regret it. And he's releasing new player content. He did it 3 weeks ago. He did it a week ago. And he's going forward, and his next piece is going to be more new player content. So if you're a new player and you're wanting to learn the game, this is it. What else can you ask for? So, with that, I think that's a wrap. Unless, Mist, you want to shout out anything that your project or anything about your channel or anything, man?
I think we pretty much hit it all over the place. New player content. I think we're probably going to try and do some Territory Wars content too. So when we finally get the inside scoop on that, I'll hopefully have some good pointers for you guys.
Great, that'd be awesome. All right, so I wanted to, again, thank you both for coming on, and hopefully we can do this again soon, because this was a lot of fun.
All right, man. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Later.
Hey, thanks, you too, man.
Hit like and subscribe. Leave your comments down below. My dad's mad.